Welcome back to Unjaded. I am super excited to be with you here today. I have just finished the last of our 3-day masterclass series at the time of this recording, and I am fired up and ready to go. Welcome to Unjaded. This is your straight talk, shoot from the hip, wrapped in a little bit of love, Human Design for Business podcast. We talk a lot here about clarifying your message so that you can bring in paying clients with ease. And ease is different from easy. Stick around to find out how we roll here. I'm your host, Vicki Dixon. I am a 2-4 emotional manifesting generator, light on the emotional, and I'm a quad right in human design. In real speak, I am an entrepreneur of 30 plus years. I've had every kind of business there is, and I always say that business is my love language. I can't wait to dive in with you here on the podcast. So I thought it would be fun to take you through some of what we have done in the 3-day masterclass series, because these are some of the things that you can be doing in your content now in order to bring you paying clients. So on day 1, we talked a lot about your human design profile and how it influences your content, because your profile is the role that you are here to play in the movie of your life. It's who you be as you move through your life, and your content needs to reflect that. We also talked about the types of content that everybody tells you that you have to be posting all the time. And then you post all of this content, you spend so much time slaving over posting this content, and it doesn't get you hired. So you may have heard that you need to be posting more educational content, and you feel like you're basically teaching a free course on Instagram with your content. You may be feeling like you have to be entertaining people and you don't want to dance on reels. Hello, I'm with you on that one. You may be feeling like you rely way too much on inspiring content. You just go to your default of, oh, I can't think of anything to post, so I'm just going to post something inspiring, and at least it will be uplifting and it will add love and light into the world and all of those things, but it doesn't get you hired. The other thing that I think, there's one other type of content that you're either using it too much or you're never using it, and that is sales content, right? We either shy completely away from selling content, or we're selling in some way or another all the time. And selling can be as little as a constant call to action for people, wearing your audience out, asking them to comment words and things like this. So we talked about those types of content, and then we talked about how to add the flavor that actually makes people want to hire you. And that flavor that you want to be thinking about adding is things that build authority in your content. You need to show up as an authority in your content in order to get hired. You can educate until the cows come home. You can inspire all day long, and nobody is going to hire you if you haven't built authority. You want to also make your content relatable. You want to empathize and relate without jumping in the pool with your people, without being like, oh, I'm here with you. I feel you so much. You're not there with them. You are a few steps ahead of the people who are going to hire you. And then, of course, your people need to trust you in order to hire you. And the way that you build trust is by showing up on the regular. People need to be able to count on you. They need to know what you stand for and that you're going to still stand for that tomorrow and a week from now and a month from now in your content. So that was day 1. On day 2, we took a detour. We were going to cover something completely different. But in the Facebook group, what I noticed is that people are not clear on the problem that they solve. Most people are not clear on the problem that they solve. And you can never create the right kind of content, the content that's going to get you hired, if you don't know what you actually solve for your people. So, we tend to think of niche as the person that we serve. We've done all of these exercises around our ideal client avatar and what she drives and how much money she makes and who she's married to and where she lives and what kind of jeans she wears and all of these things. And it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what I invite you to really put some thought into is, what is the problem that you actually solve? Because if you're not solving a problem in your business, then you are a nice to have. And you don't want to be a nice to have. You need to be a need to have. People need what you have. But if they don't know that you solve a problem for them, they can't need you enough in order to hire you. And then today, we just got off the call today. Oh my gosh, so much happened today. We talked about the 7 places in your human design that you can be leveraging in order to bring paying clients into your world. And I am going to cover those quickly with you here today. So the first thing we talked about is your human design strategy. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? If you're here, you already understand that you have a strategy in your human design. However, I teach a lot of human design practitioners in the Content by Design course. And the thing that they say the most is, oh my God, now I finally know what it means to use my strategy in my content. I was using it in other parts of my life, but I didn't know how to use it in my content, and now I do. And then we look at your profile, which we've already talked about here. We look at who you're here to serve, and you can find this in the lines of your nodes. So I know that might be weird language if you're new to human design and you're here. What I'm going to do is pop a human design chart into the show notes for you, and I'll have these things circled so that you know where to find it. So you're going to look at the lines of your node to see who you actually are talking to. You're going to see the profile lines of the people that you're talking to. So you'll have your profile, which is who you're here to be, and then the profile of the people you're talking to, which is who you're speaking to. So you need to consider that in your content. Then you're going to look at your Mercury. Now, in the human design circles, you will hear that your Mercury is your message. And I got into so much trouble with this in my own design. It kept me stuck for so long. My conscious Mercury is gate 27. Gate 27 is a theme in my design, and it is all about nurturing. Oftentimes the old and the young, we have an affinity to the old and the young, to keeping everybody close and safe. We are mama bears. We're nurturing. And I worked with so many coaches, some of them very, very expensive coaches at the time. It was $1,000 an hour at the time, a few years ago. And I came out of these coaching containers always being told that I needed to be a self-love or a self-esteem coach. If you've been in my world a while, you would not necessarily look at any of the content that I produce, any of the things in my world, and think, oh my God, that girl needs to be teaching self-love. She's so soft, right? No, that's not how I roll. And it really kept me stuck because I tried to make myself fit into this. And there's danger in that in the human design space. There's danger in taking one piece of your human design and being like, I am this. This is what I have to do. So what we look at in the Content by Design course is we look at all of these pieces and how they relate to one another. It's all in the nuances. That is the gold is in your human design, is in the nuances. How does everything kind of sit together? How does it make the beautiful soup that is you? So we also look at your unconscious Mars, because your unconscious Mars is said to be your vocation and your deepest wound. Your core wound is in that unconscious Mars. So that is something that needs to be expressed when you speak from the scar and not the wound, that needs to be expressed in your content. And it is going to deeply, deeply flavor your message. We look at your openness versus your definition. So you'll hear in human design circles that you want to sell from your openness and deliver from your definition. Another way to think of that is any of the open or undefined areas in your design are where you call people to you, right? Those are themes that play out in relationship, and your customer, your clients are relationships. You're in relationship with your customers and clients. So you can draw people to you in your sales messaging through the openness in your design. But you're always going to deliver from your definition, because your definition is what you breathe out into the world. Your definition is who you be in the world. One of the other quick things that we talked about, and we spend a lot of time on this in the course, is the energy that either reaches or tries to reach your throat. Because you could be someone who has a lot of pressure on your throat coming from, say, your emotional center or coming from your spleen. There's a way that you're supposed to speak. There's a way that you are able to speak, I should say, based on the energy that is pushing for your throat, because those are things that long to be expressed. So that's a little bit of what we went over today. We did hot seats like crazy. We were over 2 hours on the call, and it was so much fun. If you are thinking about joining us in the Content by Design course, the doors are now open. They opened yesterday, and I would love to have you in there with me. I'm going to put that link in the show notes for you so that you can check it out if you are ready to really own your message, so that you call your paying clients to you with ease every time you post, every time you write a blog, every time you deliver a podcast episode, whatever content you're putting out into the ethers, it has a job to do. And that job is to get you hired. If you are just creating content for the sake of filling up the ethers and satisfying the algorithm, then you're missing the mark, because your content should be getting you hired. And if it's not, I would love nothing more than to fix that with you, so that you have a real, legit business and you make a go of it, because the world needs what you have. I'm also going to put a link in the show notes for you. There is a replay page for these 3 sessions with me. It's about 5 hours of content in the room with me. And whether the Content by Design course is in the cards for you or not, you will be able to get value from this masterclass series and move yourself closer to creating the content that gets you hired. Thank you for being here in my world. I appreciate you, and I'll see you back here next Monday.